Hey everyone, I'm back with a new video in this channel. I hope every one of you are doing really good and most importantly smelling really amazing. Today in this channel we will talk about this fragrance, this one right here, right? So I purchased a 10 ml decan of this fragrance some times ago and I have only this much left, right? If you see, I have only this much left, right? See, let's check it out. And for the records, it is Profumum Roma's Sorriso, right? This one. So this video and all the upcoming videos in this channel will be about my own experience with these fragrances that I will talk about. And this video is the intro of that new series that I plan to start. So today we will talk about Sorriso, my experience with the fragrance, what are the listed notes, what notes I do get from my skin, what notes I do get from a testing strip, whether I do like it or not, these kind of things, and that will be all. But before we start the video, I have two very important pointers to talk about, and I mean these are general points and I think they are very important to discuss in the first video because they will be true for all the videos that will come here later, right? So before starting the review, let's talk about those 2 pointers. So without further delay, let's start. Okay, so point number 1, fragrance preferences and opinions about any fragrance are subjective, very subjective. I think as dedicated frag heads of the community, we all know that. But let me just reiterate, right, before I start a new video, that fragrance preferences and opinions about fragrances are very personal and very subjective. What works for me, that there's no guarantee will work for you or any other one. What works for you, there is no guarantee that that will work for me, right? So I might like or I might love a fragrance to the moon and back, and you might think that that fragrance is absolutely disgusting, and we both are okay and we both are correct in our own way, right? So I will seriously hope that, if it is a constructive criticism, I'm always open. But if you are in the comments, if there is a war regarding, and if I see rigidity regarding fragrance choices, demeaning others, with respect to what fragrances they like or what niche fragrance they haven't discovered yet, or what mass appealing or cheap fragrance they absolutely like, if I see any kind of targeting or demeaning behavior in comments, I would have to ban, or I would have to report that account, and there will be a zero tolerance policy. I would not stand at all any kind of discrimination, including discrimination, cornering and demeaning behavior with respect to one's fragrance choices, period. So that is point number 1, and that is very important. Point number 2 is also important, and that is where I do source my decants from. Number 1, there might be some people who are genuinely interested, because I will show eventually a lot of very hard to get fragrances that I source from very trusted guys that I have built some kind of very respected relationship with in this industry, in this community, more like community rather than industry. So I have trusted friends in the industry, in the community, once again, and I source the decants and full bottles only from them. No other, no e-commerce websites, nowhere else. So that might be important to note for someone who is interested, right? Number 2, why I think that the point number 2 is important is, if you believe in honest work, so this is honest work for me. Anything you do, if you do it sincerely and honestly, you have to give credit where credit is due. And this is my way of mentioning the people who have helped me source the decant and in a way helped build my palate, build my nose. So that's it. Now, where do I source the decants from? That's an interesting question. Um, so I source from. You can see the names in the in the video itself as captions. Number one is Centauria. It is Pranay Agarwal's channel. I'm sorry, it is Pranay Agarwal's company website. And number two is Splash Fragrance. It is Gaurav Verma's website. Gaurav Verma is one of our entire India's most famous and you know uh, and well connected, most famous and well connected, one of the most famous and well connected guy from whom you can source almost, I've said almost any fragrance that you can, full bottle or decants. And Pranay is also another one. So if you source your decants, if you source your full bottles from either from Splash or from Centauria, you can get 98% of the fragrances that are available in the global market, and that's a huge feat. So again, I don't interact. I haven't interacted with Pranay that much, but I know Gaurav personally. Gaurav knows me personally. We are very good friends, and now both of them are way famous than me. So there is no point of using my video as a reference to go to their websites. I think most of you already know that, but as I said, you have to give credit where it's due when you are doing honest and sincere work. So this is my this mention or this kind of giving the reference is my way to giving back them the respect they deserve, because through them I have also grown up as a frag head. So that's about it. So these are the pointers that I wanted to discuss. Now that's done. Now let's go to the review. Okay, on to the actual review then. So I have Fragrantica open in front of me. Fragrantica says about this fragrance that Sorriso by Profumum Roma is a floral, fruity gourmand fragrance for women and men. That means it's unisex. Sorriso was launched in 2013. The fragrance features dark chocolate, vanilla, exotic woods, and bitter orange. So the notes are dark chocolate. The listed notes, the declared notes are dark chocolate, vanilla, exotic woods. Now there lies, an interesting point that what kind of woods we actually don't know. So exotic woods can be anything. Sandalwood, cedar wood, what kind of wood, So anyway, exotic woods as they have mentioned it, and bitter orange. Fair enough. So chocolate gourmand. Now let's see. What I was thinking is let's skip the strip test and let's spray it directly on the skin, and I'll take a sniff and I'll tell you what notes I do get and whether I like it or not. This is not a first sniff for me, absolutely, but let me just remind myself what kind of a smell this is. So on to the sniff test. Okay, so let's see the spray. I'm just spraying it here. So this is Extrait the Parfum. One spray is more than enough. Okay. Yeah. So what I get from the get-go, from the first sniff. So see, again, everyone knows this, but let's just reiterate that everyone's skin is different and fragrances, perfumes are made in a way that They interact with everyone's skin in a different way, in a little different way. Sometimes one note shines in one's skin, some other notes shine in some other one's skin. So this is my personal opinion. This is my personal experience with this, and this is specific to my skin. Your skin, it might be some little variant of or little yeah, as I said, little variants of what I experienced, but the overall thing will be similar. So from the get go, I get two very distinct smells, and that stays for the entire journey of the fragrance. One is, interestingly, not dark chocolate but milk chocolate, and the other most prominent note that I get from the opening is bitter orange. It's almost neroli like. So bitter, it is bitter orange, but there is no citrusy tang. It is more like bitter orange flower, or it almost at the territory of neroli note, right? Yes. And the chocolate, I'm not sure, they have mentioned dark chocolate and vanilla, but in my opinion, it's my humble opinion that the mix of their vanilla accord and the dark chocolate accord creates an illusion of a dark milk chocolate like note accord, or an illusion of milk chocolate like smell. And you will also get, as the fragrance dries down, there is no mention of these notes, specific notes, but this is what I get from the fragrance. You might get something else, because see, the smell memory of each one's brain is quite different, and our brain associates different smells with different previous memories, right? It's basically like a, I don't know, infinite dimension of a trained artificial intelligence model, our brain, right? So that is how it basically trains itself. So yeah, so the smell I was talking about, as it is drying down, it gets more and more prominent. It is kind of a very sticky caramel hazelnut kind of a sweet vibe that you get from a coffee, a hazelnut frappe, or a that kind of a iced cold coffee, maybe a hazelnut frappe, where you have a lot of hazelnut syrup in that frappe or in that coffee. So do I love this fragrance? I like this fragrance a lot, but for me this fragrance comes with a caution. See, I absolutely love complex fragrances. I was initially a Fougere fragrance man, mostly a Fougere barbershop, old school masculine fragrance guy. But in the last 3 years or so, 4 years, maybe 3.5 years, my palette, if you can call the nose as palette, equivalent to palette, has increased and expanded in a way I never thought it will be possible for me, but it happened. And now I absolutely love complex fragrances, and I absolutely love sweeter fragrances, but there is a limit to that sweetness. I absolutely hate pastry like overly sugary caramelly sweet fragrance. Again, but there is another twist. For Sorriso, as it's an extrait de parfum. If you apply it moderately, at least for me, if I apply it moderately, like, excuse me, like say 3 sprays maximum, one here, and one around where your heart is. So if I apply like that, that's perfectly okay. And the sillage I get, that neroli, chocolate, hazelnut mix, that's absolutely great. Not holy grail tier, but absolutely great. On the other hand, if I apply it a lot, like 6 sprays, the sweetness from that hazelnut syrup, milk chocolate kind of thing, it becomes way overbearing for me. It gives me headaches. So I like it a lot, but with this caution that I only apply this very moderately and very in control. So if you, the people who are watching this video, if you don't like overly sweet fragrances, strong as well as sweet, something like, see, if uh, I mean, that's not a fair comparison at all. But let me just bring that fragrance to kind of make my point. If something like Latafas Khamra, okay, or PDM's Wajan, they're quite similar because they came from Khamra, Wajan, Angel's Share, and there is another fragrance that I will talk about in the second episode of this series. So let's keep that in suspense till now. So these kind of fragrances all come from Hermes's Ambre Nargile. Hermes's Ambre Nargile. Ambre Nargile was amazing. It's discontinued. I had the pleasure of owning a decant of that as well. But it felt amazing to me. It's so smooth. But all the iterations, Wajan, Khamra, Angel's Share, they are too strong for my liking. So if you hate that kind of a very sweet and strong fragrance, you might not like it. But to make you like this fragrance, I would advise you to apply it moderately and then check. So I think that's about it. That's the video. Let's end on this note, and I hope all of you liked it. If you did, please like the video, express your opinions in the comments, and share the video as well. Subscribe to the channel. So yeah, that's about it. Let's meet in the next video. Bye.